It is one of the darkest days in Michigan football history. You see the seriousness on this face, folks. CJ Carr committed to Notre Dame last night. We're going to talk about that for a second, but that's not really the storylines of today's show. We've got a great show for you coming up, though, so stick with us. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports coming up right now. We are presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE for 20% off and free shipping. Father's Day is next week, folks. A week from Sunday. If you're a lady in your life, if you're a father, she wants to maybe make another kid, not going to want hair going on down there. We're talking about the Platinum Package here in a second for Manscaped. But I did want to start today's show off with this question on screen. Give me your one-word reaction to Lloyd Carr's grandson, CJ Carr, committing to Notre Dame yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw my Twitter rant yesterday, so I'll give my one word here. I'm going to go with a travesty, right? It's a complete travesty that he committed to Notre Dame. And I put a Twitter video out right when it happened yesterday around 7:15 or 7 o'clock Eastern time, and some Michigan State fans, Notre Dame fans, like, this guy's psycho, this guy's crazy, he's a 16-year-old boy, don't get so emotional. It was a joke, but if you didn't miss it, I said, look, Lloyd Carr's grandson committing to Notre Dame played quarterback. That is the equivalent of George Washington's grandson going to play for the British Empire, being a redcoat, being a general for them. Or it'd be like George H.W. Bush in the Gulf War of the 90s. Imagine if his grandson, 15 years later, went and played quarterback for, the Iraqis. How about this? What if, Osama bin Laden, okay? So Barack Obama was president. He took down bin Laden. We killed him in 2011. What if Obama's grandson, 15 years later, goes and plays quarterback for the Taliban and bin Laden? So that's what I said yesterday in my video. I take none of it back, absolutely none of it, because that's just kind of how it is. CJ Carr should have committed to Michigan at birth, and that should have been that. Even if Michigan was recruiting other quarterbacks harder, which they probably are, I think CJ Carr should have just known his place in history. It's like being in the aristocrat. It's like the royal family, right? His grandpa's king, right? You're prince. You're gonna be there one day. CJ Carr, you've kind of blown it, right? The name Carr will never ring as hollow. I said yesterday in my video, I might be vacating my memories from '95 to 2007 when Lloyd Carr was head coach, because I'm just so distraught that a Carr will be lining up for Notre Dame. But he'll probably transfer anyways, or maybe not even stick with it, because their coach, Marcus Freeman, will probably be fired within a year or two. All right, if you guys didn't see last week on the show, I said at the end of a show, ask me anything, use hashtag AMA, and I really want to tell you guys I appreciate all the questions we got. Most of them were football, but we got quite a few personal, just random stuff, so we'll mix them in here. I have got enough of these AMAs for probably about 7 shows or so, but I've picked about the top 15, 20 of them for 3 different shows. We're going to have an AMA today, we're going to have one on Sunday, and then I'm going to put one out middle of next week as well. So if you got an AMA question, it's not on today's show, likely it's coming, and I'm going to kind of continue 1 or 2 of those a week for the next month to make sure I get all of the Ask Me Anything questions that we receive. First one that we got was from Omar Karan. He says, is JJ's shoulder healthy enough to last a whole season, especially since he's not afraid of contact when he runs? And J.J. McCarthy's health has been an intriguing and interesting question here in the last few weeks, because Jim Harbaugh said, hey, he's getting healthier, he's ready to play, and McCarthy was at his own camp throwing the ball around, and we've heard rumors of him leading 7-on-7 drills. Take a look at his stats last year, rushing the ball. Not bad, right? It's not like he was tearing it up Denard Robinson style or anything like that. But what J.J. McCarthy clearly did compared to Cade McNamara, certainly compared to even like 2020 Joe Milton, I think even a little bit better than Shea Patterson, he looked like he was a dual threat quarterback with a hell of an arm, and that's a wild combination that Michigan fans have been fawning over when other schools have it for years. You think back to maybe Drew Henson was the last guy who we thought had that strong of an arm that moved like McCarthy. But folks, look, if he ends up being the starting quarterback this year, whether it's game 1, game 4, 8 games into the season, he needs to not be so reckless, all right? Some of the recklessness was just not holding on to the ball properly against Michigan State with those 2 fumbles in the second half. But he threw his body around. Even in the Ohio State game, he tried to score a touchdown, Those are types of plays historically. Hell, think back to Cade McNamara. The same thing happened against Penn State in 2020. He came in for Joe Milton. He ended up getting hurt. Was it that game he started? Whatever it was. He got hurt in that Penn State game. I think it was actually the one he ended up starting. And was just trying to stretch for the end zone. Got hurt. I think he needs to not be so reckless running the ball. And if he does need to dive for it, make sure it's worth something, right? Make sure it's a tie ball game in the fourth quarter and you're not just diving for the end zone in the middle of the second quarter against Colorado State or something like that. So if J.J. McCarthy's the starting quarterback, he definitely needs to protect himself and not risk injury. But I want to know from you guys, folks, who will be the starting quarterback against those Colorado State Rams September 3rd in the greatest stadium that college football has ever known, the biggest stadium, bigger than the stadium that producer Matthew Peterson graduated from, which is Neyland Stadium down there in Tennessee. I think Michigan's got like 500-600 more people in every game. You know, it is how it is. They actually, I know this, Peterson, the only year Michigan doesn't have the attendance record in like the last 30 years was 1997, because that was the year Tennessee did their expansion. Michigan was working expansion there. Michigan took the title back in 98. All right. Next question. Coming up from Sean Isham. He says, Dave, James, love your show and the content. Do you wear Michigan gear when you're not doing the show? You live in Texas, and all the heat gets to people. Okay, that's for sure. I thought he was saying I was taking heat. Do you get a lot of crap? That's maybe what I was meaning by heat. From all the Texas schools, different school fans. And think about it, I live in Dallas. You got A&M fans, Texas Tech, A&M. I said A&M twice. Baylor, Oklahoma, UT, TCU, SMU, tons of colleges around here. And Dallas is one of these feeder cities where a lot of graduates from all the Big 12 schools go to in the professional career afterwards. So I do wear Michigan gear, and so when I was walking out of the house, I saw this question was going to be on the show. I just grabbed what I could carry to my car just to show, hey, am I repping Michigan in Dallas, Texas? All right, I got my Jordan gear. You guys see me wear this on a bunch of shows. Got that, right? And this is just, a handful of many. I love this shirt. My mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas a few years back. It's the Big House. He's saying that's smaller than Neyland Stadium. I love this one. The coach's sweatshirt, the Jim Harbaugh coach's sweatshirt. It's one of my favorites. You guys have seen me wear that one. I got the polo. I'm dropping stuff here, Peterson. I got the polo, all right, Michigan polo. That's a cool one. But check out this shirt. This is one of my favorites. I've never worn it on the store. This shirt is older than I am, okay? This shirt is over 45 years old, folks. My dad got this, I think, in the mid-'70s or something like that. Dad, if you're watching, you maybe say, hey, that's from 87, whatever. I was told by somebody who was 40 years old. This is a pretty sweet shirt. I like that one a lot. These are just the ones in my closet. We moved a few months ago. I've got an entire compressed bag of Michigan clothes that I wasn't able to get because we put it in the attic, all right? I got another big Block M shirt, old school Rich Rod, Brady Hoke, Adidas long sleeve. Been wearing that one for about a decade. Another Michigan Jumpman polo. We're rocking it, baby. I love this one, maize and blue. I think it's the one I wore for the Ohio State game this year, so it's got a little bit of a sentimental value for me. How about this old school Michigan hoodie? This one's nice when it gets a little chilly here in Texas. You got another Michigan sweatshirt. This sweatshirt, over 30 years old. This is from the 90s, right? This is old school. Been wearing this for since I was a little kid. And last but not least, folks, I think I'm the only guy on planet Earth to have one of these. The Michigan sports jacket line. I'm just going to put it on for the rest of the show, Peterson, because it looks so good. I haven't worn this one in a while. If you guys recall, about 3 years ago, we had a sponsorship. A guy made me a coat that is lined with Michigan Block M's, maize and blue, little Michigan football sponsorship. So that's some of my gear. I didn't even bring the 3 Michigan football pairs of shoes that I have, the Nike Jordan shoes, nor did I bring my 15-plus Michigan hats, plus about 20 more sweatshirts, T-shirts, hoodies for the Wolverines. So I'm typically, on a given day, I'm either wearing a shirt here for a show, or if I'm in the streets, I got my Michigan Block M, maize, and blue hat. And hey, if I've got a wedding to go to, it is always this coat, usually, sometimes. Father's Day, folks, is a week from Sunday. And if you need a last-minute gift, you got to order right now, and you got to do it with Manscaped. The Platinum package is the one that I just received, and it is awesome, folks. It has got everything that Manscaped offers right now. It's got the Lawnmower 4.0. It's got all of their shower stuff. I've been using the stuff in the shower. No lie, no cap on that at all. The ladies are telling me, James, you smell so good, your hair looks so good, and now smells so good, and you're clean downstairs all the way up. I actually use Manscaped to shave the entire chest where I've got these little random hairs. It's just like that with Manscaped for me. Platinum package. If you buy all these things separately, you're looking at like $250 or something we said, Peterson? $270, right? If you get the package, all of them together, $123.99 using our promo code GOBLUE. I'm a big fan of Manscaped. And if you need anything for yourself, you want little gift ideas out there, tell your lady, go get the Platinum Package at Manscaped. Use promo code GOBLUE for that big discount and free shipping. Go ahead, you can toss the price up on the screen if you want. That's okay. They'll see it. Get going for Father's Day next Sunday, folks. Next Sunday, remember, the list price for the package, $154.99 with a 20% discount. You see the price there. But if you buy all those things separately, which you can do, we're looking at over $250. Get one for your, ladies, get one for the man in your life. Guys, tell the lady in your life, or guy, nothing wrong with that. Or if you need a last-minute gift for a coworker, your father, yourself, hey, your son's getting into the dating game, Manscaped is the way to go. Manscaped.com. Use that promo code GOBLUE. Maxwell Stein, James, he says, ask me anything. Do a weekly recap of the top 5 best Michigan moments in your life once a week episode. Okay, cool. And where you were. Got it. All right. So, not about every week because that's a lot, but I did put together a quick list of the top 5 moments of my life as a Michigan fan. I just kind of I didn't really do a lot of research. I didn't go back to the archives or anything on this. Just what were the first ones that came to my mind. Number 1. 1997, Michigan, Ohio State, number 1 Wolverines versus number 4 Buckeyes. Michigan wins. Very low output offensive game. The game turned on that Charles Woodson punt return for a touchdown. I was at the stadium. Went with the girl, actually. Later on, I ended up going to the girl that went to my dad, stepmom, and a gal, and I ended up taking that girl to my prom eventually. It was a while later, but nevertheless, funny story there. Next up, folks, it was actually just about 6.5 months ago. It was Hassan Haskins' 5th touchdown versus Ohio State, putting Michigan up 42-27. I was still a tad uncertain at that point, okay? I was still saying, gosh, is Michigan going to do this right? It is, there's still 2 minutes left in the game. What's going to happen here? Ohio State's going to go down the field and score a touchdown, get an onside kick, score another touchdown, probably go for 2 on both of them. Michigan's going to lose 43-42. But that was kind of when I was like, yes, because Ohio State just kind of gave up. They let them in to try and get the ball back, so Michigan just didn't run the clock out. But that put Michigan up by 15 with a couple minutes left, and I thought, finally, Michigan beats Ohio State after dominating them the entire time I was growing up. Michigan dominating Ohio State. The last 20 years, folks, has been a complete disaster, and now I think the tide is starting to turn. All right, folks, if you haven't yet, I'm going to talk about my 3, 4, and 5 top moments here in a moment. But if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. We are within a couple dozen of 20,000 subscribers here in the channel. And if I get that by Tuesday, I'm going to chug a beer, do 20 push-ups, chug another beer, all for you guys. My job is to entertain you, so make sure you subscribe or send the link, youtube.com/MichiganTV, to a friend. Number 3 on the list is the 2006 win at number 2 Notre Dame. If we all correctly, if you're old enough to remember, 2005, Michigan had a hell of a team, top 4 team coming into the season. They end up having a terrible year. Injuries all over the place. Mike Carr injured. Chad Henne wasn't the same. Braylon had gone on to the NFL. Michigan lost 5 games that year, which is the first time it had happened in like 15 seasons. And you come back, Notre Dame is, national title favorite. It's the second or third week of the season in 2006. Michigan comes on the road, huge underdogs. It absolutely blows Notre Dame out, and Michigan starts 11-0, goes into the Ohio State game, number 2 in the country. Ultimately lost, but that was a hell of a moment because you kind of felt, man, Michigan is back. It only lasts for that season because 2007 they opened and, of course, lost to Appalachian State. Think way back in the 1997 moment when I was a teenager, Judgment Day versus Penn State. Again, this is 25 years ago at this point, right? Yeah, it's good math, 1997. But the memory is this. I was not at the game. I do remember we went to a lot of games back then. We've had families with season tickets for like 50 years. But watched it at home. My dad, if I recall, was in Germany on business. He was calling me. It was like 3 in the morning or something there. I don't remember, maybe midnight. And Michigan went into number 1 Penn State as the number 4 Wolverines. Judgment Day, it was 1 versus 4, Michigan, Penn State, and then North Carolina, Florida State, 2 versus 3. Same day, and Michigan emerged from that contest as the number 1 team in the country. About a month later, they would, a month and a half later, go on and win the national title. Number 5, Braylon Edwards. Michigan's down 17 points with 7 minutes left in the game. Braylon scores a couple touchdowns. Mike Carr has a hell of a couple runs there at the end of the game. Goes into triple overtime. Braylon absolutely explodes, just jumping over Michigan State defenders left and right. Michigan wins the game. That was Halloween weekend, 2004. I went back to Toledo, where I was living at the time, University of Toledo, and went and just got all kinds of nuts at a Halloween party afterwards. I think it was like the 29th or 30th. It was a Saturday night, 3:30 game. It started as a day game, and it turned into a night game, even though it wasn't a true night game, because at 7:30, 8 o'clock, it was dark, and they had the temporary light structures over the stadium. Some honorable mention moments for me: 2009, 10, and 11, those 3 straight wins over Notre Dame, the Tate Forcier game, and then the back-to-back, the Denard Robinson 200 game, and then the comeback under the lights in 2011. 2003 versus Ohio State, the year after they'd won the national title game. 2008, what's that game? Rich Rod's first year, Michigan was down 19 points, and it was just looked like an absolute disaster. Came back and won the game there, the Stephen Threet 50-plus yard run game. 2011 against Ohio State, that win, and then 2018, Donovan Peoples-Jones. It was when Michigan had 3 straight games against top 15 opponents. It was like Penn State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and DPJ scored that touchdown. It was a tight game, and hit the Paul Bunyan Trophy pose in the end zone. Those are the top 10 that came off. I guess Notre Dame could be considered more than one, but nevertheless, let me know, folks, down in the comments what your top moments are. James, would you like to see all the other Big Ten teams play each other every year? Go Blue, coming in from Bohannon, 94. Certainly appreciate the question, Bohannon. But I don't know. I think that's a little too much, right? 13 games is a lot for regular season. 14 Big Ten teams, and I like out-of-conference games, right? I think they're easy wins sometimes. Stat patterns, that's okay. But nevertheless, I think 13 games in conference is a little bit ridiculous. But I would like to see the Big Ten do a bit better job of balancing the schedule out, so you don't go like 3-4 years without playing a team. I like the idea some people have said of like 2 common opponents or something like that, and then rotating all other teams in the league if you go to a divisionless format. So we'll see how that shakes out. A lot of rumors right now, folks, that the Big Ten is going to either get rid of divisions or potentially switch it up, move Michigan State over to the West, bring a team over to the East to balance things out. Haven't talked about our Facebook page in a while. We used to put the show on Facebook Live, but haven't in a couple of years because YouTube and Rumble are the place to be. But if you haven't yet, we put a ton of content out, not just the show content, a lot of Michigan-related stuff on our Facebook page. Link is down on the bottom of the screen. I'll put it in the comments and description. It is facebook.com/Harbaugh, Go Blue. Head over there, give us a follow, and you get more of the Michigan Football Report and Jim Harbaugh's Wolverines. All right, we have got a big show tomorrow. We're going to have our 5 burning questions that Michigan needs to think about heading into fall camp. It'll come out on Saturday. So until you see you next time, folks, Go Blue.